Hey, the graphic designers. Today we're going to take a look at the clone stamp tool. We're going to be using this image, so we're using the exact same image. We're going to start off as we normally do by taking the background layer and making a copy of it just for that backup, just in case. Double checking that we're in RGB mode, which we are. And then we're going to take and actually make a brand new layer with nothing on it, so it's not duplicating anything. And we're going to call it Fixes. Now, our clone stamp is near the middle of the toolbar. It's this little stamp looking thing. The shortcut is S for it. Once we have that chosen, as soon as I click, it's going to give me an error warning saying that I need to take and choose a place to take and basically grab from, because the way that this stamp tool works is like a copy paste function. So I need to tell it what area to basically copy from and then where to paste on. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to change right here where it's a sample. I'm going to change it from current to all layers. What that's going to do is right now we're on this Fixes layer and there's nothing there to copy or paste. So when I change this to all layers, it's going to sample from my background copy layer and it's going to paste it onto that Fixes layer with nothing there, and that will only house our corrections. So once again, stamp tool, we're on that Fixes layer, and then up here at the top where it says sample, make sure it's all layers. Yours might look like a pancake stack with a little checkbox. It all just sort of depends on what device you're using, okay? Now, once that's done, I'm gonna hold Alt, and I'm gonna do it up here with this palm tree real quick, but when I hold Alt, I'm saying that's the thing that I wanna copy. So hold Alt, click, and then when I come over here to the right, I'm not clicking anymore, I'm just sort of moving my mouse. We can see inside of that brush basically what we're going to be grabbing. And as I click and drag, you can see on the left by the palm tree, there's that little plus symbol, which is where we're grabbing from. And then inside of the brush is where we're pasting. So it's sort of that one for one. We're sort of picking up from one location and just pasting it in the other. Now, the thing to be careful is if I'm going to start getting rid of this lady, I'm going to hold Alt. And I want to choose the color of water that's somewhere close to it. So I want to be close to her leg. So I'm going to choose right here, and I'm going to take and start removing. Now, I haven't let go of the mouse. I'm still clicking and dragging. And as I go over, Photoshop doesn't realize that her leg is gone until I leave go of the mouse. So if I just keep coming over, her leg is going to pop back up. So as we're doing this, you want to do small bits at a time. So we're going to hold Alt, choose an area, do a little bit. Hold Alt, choose a different area, do a little bit. And it's just sort of that small little bits at a time. I'm grabbing in random locations so that this way we don't get like a repeating fashion. So if I keep grabbing from the same place every single time and going to a different area, you get that repetitive pattern, which is a telltale sign that something's been photoshopped. So we want to take and always sort of randomly grabbing different areas where the color is sort of similar, and we're going to get rid of that shadow so it doesn't look like a creepy ghost is just sort of floating around, and we'll just sort of make our way throughout. And it's just that repeating. Hold Alt, choose the area to grab from, do a little bit, hold Alt, do a little bit, and so on until everything that we want is gone and the colors are matching. I don't want to take from down here and do it up here because that's just weird, doesn't blend in. So we're trying to stay away from repeating patterns. We want the colors to match throughout, and we want alignment. So when we get to this point, we got to bring that beach back. It's all got that sort of halo, so we can't just sort of grab, we can't just sort of grab from over here and be like, all right, I put the water there, because the beach doesn't match then. So what we're going to do is grab, when we're holding Alt, this area down here, and I'm going to actually go with a little bit of a smaller brush, and notice that the hardness is set about halfway down. We don't want it to be a hard brush. We want it to blend a little bit for us. And what I'm going to do is grab along that coastline right there, make sure we're lined up, and then I could click and drag a little bit to bring that in. I'm going to do the same for the top. Make sure it's lined up, click and drag. Now, once we start getting around to the point where we need the edge of it to come back, I'm going to grab from a little bit of a different location. So maybe I'll grab from down here, come up here, sort of get it lined up so that that halo sort of curves around and matches a little bit better. And then I can finish taking off her legs here with the just regular sand. Coming along here for that coast. And it's just making those small adjustments, small changes, so that everything matches up. So we're going to completely get rid of her. We're going to remove this gentleman here. So basically any of the people that are sort of around in here, we want them gone like they weren't there to begin with. And then what we can do is turn this off and on, sort of see where our changes are. If something's messed up, I can always pull from this copy of it. I could always come in here and say, all right, I didn't like the edge of this beach right here. I could grab the eraser if I wanted to, erase it so her leg comes back, and then just restart again, where I'm taking that and finishing going over it. And we're able to use that eraser because we do have it on a separate layer. If I wasn't using this layer and I tried to use that eraser, we would completely remove the image. So that's the important part of having that additional layer in there, so that this way we're able to undo a little bit of the work that we did without having to start all over.